What's going on, everybody? Kathy Hochul here. If you guys were dumb enough to vote me in, I'm assuming you're going to need a little instruction on how to properly plow snow. So here it is, my step-by-step instructions. Now, don't do the whole pile at once. Do a little bit off the top. That way you don't bust your back, okay? And don't do this for too long because you're going to get a heart attack. Then I'm going to hear your stupid conspiracy theories on how the COVID vaccine caused heart attacks, even though it did.
Mi gente, it's time.
Time for Cafecito.
It's time for Cafecito break.
Time for Cafecito.
It always happens.
Join us, take a sip.
Join us.
Time to wait.
This is Rosangel Pérez, host of Cafecito Break, one of the Pérez sisters, with Mark.
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Mark Fernoy here. Welcome to another Freedom Fighters podcast. Hope everyone's staying safe in the snow out there. For those of you that don't know who I am, State Assembly, City Council, and U.S. Senate candidate in the state of New York 3 years in a row. Continuous freedom fighter despite the stolen elections and out there on the streets. And this show basically covers New York politics as well as national and international politics, but we focus a lot of times on New York. One of my fellow freedom fighters that was there from day one, the one and only Kozi Wellness, will start us off with the first story of the day. How's it going?
What's going on, everybody? Good to see you all here tuning in. My name is Kozi. I'm a former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine because I wasn't dumb enough to take it. And I had the courage to stand up and say no. So here I am, medical freedom fighter for almost 2 decades, and we're still pushing back. And we want total freedom over our bodies. So yes, I'm here. And the first story we're going to talk about is some good news. The United States decided to break away from the World Health Organization, a corrupt organization that has just got everything wrong. It got vaccines wrong. It got masks wrong. It got the lockdowns wrong. And I'm being nice by saying it got it wrong. Okay. Besides getting the lockdowns down, the origin story, they got it all wrong, or they lied either way, right? We know, I know they lied, right? But I'm just trying to be safe and say they got it wrong. Complete failures. So kudos to the federal government. HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. was definitely behind this. Donald Trump signed it. We're breaking away. We've broke away from these morons. And guess what happens? The governor of California, decides to sign back on with the World Health Organization because they love fake science. It's just unbelievable. Okay, just like when we're looking at the AAP, the American Pediatrics Association or Academy, whatever you call these morons, they get everything wrong. For years, they've been pushing these vaccines that are harming children, and they claim it's safe and effective when the science does not show that. There is, in fact, no science. There's no safety science. They've never done it. They've never done a placebo versus a vaccine proper study, right, where they're going through all the phases. Where they have to compare it to a saline placebo. They never do it. Why? Because we've seen all the independent studies that showed this comparison. They show that the healthier kids are by far the ones that are unvaccinated. Okay, we're seeing allergies, autoimmune disease, blood sugar issues, right? Like diabetes, neurological damage. We're seeing it all. Almost every possible disease you see it more in the vaccinated children. Okay, so here is the idiot in California, signing back onto the corrupt World Health Organization that got it all wrong. And now we're going to see a trend, I predict, of all the blue states, one after the other, following his lead. Okay, you're going to see New York do it. You're going to see Chicago do it, and on and on and on. This is just terrible. And it's the same kind of idea that we're seeing where the American Academy of Pediatrics is pretty much kicking and screaming about us wanting to have safety studies, okay, and removing some of them that are not necessary, like the Hep B vaccine that we covered here, where they were jamming it into babies the first day of life, within the first 48 hours of life, which is absolutely crazy. Not needed, not scientific. So now we're seeing the same, right? We see that it's like it's a normal trend. You see it with the fluoride, right? When we found out the largest study ever conducted showing that fluoride was damaging brains, okay, lowering IQ of children, and here it is, the fluoride industry, right? The American Dental Association and all the fluoride promoters kicking and screaming, no, we want to fluoridate you. We're going to keep it in the water. Even though we're showing brain damage, it's not just little studies. We're talking about Harvard University. We're talking about meta-analysis. We're talking about the largest study ever conducted, showing that it's causing brain damage in children. Why is that the common theme, that we want to brain damage children? We want to just keep it going. Anyway, I'm done complaining. What do you guys think about what I just said?
Well, the most recent thing, I mean, it's definitely a neurotoxin, and with the fluoride. But yeah, the World Health Organization, we know, is responsible for a lot of the BS COVID advice that we got, and along with the CDC and all these other organizations. But the World Health Organization that's the biggest BS out of them all. Why, as a country, are we spending enormous amounts of taxpayer money for this unnecessary organization? And then, of course, Gavin Newsom, thankfully in California, he's being term limited out, and we won't have to deal with him until his failed presidential run in 28 that's coming. But yeah, it's I mean, I agree with you 100% on everything. I think you pretty much covered all the bases. The only other thing I'll add is, you know what? I have my issues with Trump, with the Epstein list and stuff, but he's been doing a lot. I mean, I know RFK, just him appointing RFK in the first place was a big move, but he's done a lot of good so far in his administration 1 year in, and this is just adding to that list. So even though I have my issues sometimes, he continues to get things done.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Rose Angel?
Talk about the pregnant pause. I have to say that at one point I was feeling excited when I saw this little video of U.S. Secretary Commerce Howard Lutnick, who was over there flexing on behalf of the United States. Let's see if we could play it for the audience to check it out.
We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries.
So much was said in that clip. My summation is that seeing that in an environment where people are seemingly, at least when we're seeing footage of those environments and what people are saying and how they are speaking to each other, there's this elite tonality, this elite vibe, this I am higher and I know best. And yet we see a lot of hypocrisy, like we saw during the days of the COVID lockdowns, which became an awakening point for a lot of humanity when these big mouth elites were telling us what to do to social distance. They were even making health recommendations that were very racist. For example, I'm not going to forget when they were recommending the COVID jab, they wanted to push it on the people of color's community first because, you know, we're more vulnerable and we need it. And then you do a little bit more digging and you realize that some of these people in privileged places had the option to just not even take the jab. And how can we forget the queen of New York City politics, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her, you know, she's a champion of climate justice, which would be in line to what we said we're leaving. We want to leave here in the United States. It doesn't work for us. She's this tax the rich, you know, goes to this big gala with this tax the rich. And I'm seeing all these activists like she gave it to the man. And I'm like, no, she gave the middle finger up to everyday humans. She's up there mixing it up, living life like the elite. And while I'm at it talking about AOC, I will never forget that even though she was here, you know, siding with harsher lockdowns with her Democratic buddies, where did she go when she wanted a little reprieve when it was her vacation? Didn't she go to Florida to a more relaxed, maskless state? Weren't there pictures of her with her beloved enjoying fresh air? These people are hypocrites. It is time that the world wakes up. Just because they have more education, more money, more access, and are talking to you about studies, are they living their what they're saying? Are they how are they emulating what they're recommending to just the common man? Most of the times, that's where you see the hypocrisy. It just doesn't hold up. So to me, what has happening with Gavin Newsom and stirring the pot here, I feel like we're going to see different layers of this in New York and in other cities. And we are seeing it. Name the cause, and they're stirring the pot in a city near you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was going to say Kozi was right about that, how Gavin Newsom kind of starts the liberal trend of the governors. You'll probably see Hochul do the same thing, and unfortunately, that's probably what's going to end up happening. But they still want to throw tax. If we can't throw federal tax dollars out there, let's use state funds to throw it away. But April comments, it blows my mind how people still take these toxic jabs or use fluoride. And it's basically because they don't see or pay attention to people like us, or, you know, they pay attention to the mainstream media, CNN, Dr. Fauci, and, you know, Cuomo when he was out there preaching, and all the mainstream characters on the news that are so-called leaders that are just basically buying stock in big pharma before forcing mandates and making money off of it. Like, I mean, I still can't believe we don't have a ton of these politicians in prison for insider trading, because it's not legal what they're doing, what Pelosi and all these people are doing. Especially, it's obvious you're forcing a mandate, and you invested in Moderna and Pfizer prior to forcing that mandate and made a ton of money. I mean, it's clear as day. But Kozi, you were going to say something?
Yeah, there's a lot to say. I actually really love that clip, Rose Angel, that you posted about globalization has failed the West. It absolutely has. You know, we were outsourcing to everybody. and yeah, he made great points, right? Why should Europe, go net zero, basically, right? Like carbon emissions and all this stuff. It was basically to shift the power to other countries, right? China and others, where China could still pollute, but they want others to not pollute, right? It's so crazy. And I hope every country starts rebelling. I hope every country starts thinking about their sovereignty. And because that's where it's at. We must stay individual. Every country needs to be sovereign. We can't become a globalist society. It never works because it's authoritative. It's like a king telling us orders. Just that's why I'm so against the World Health Organization. It's like one group of people, right? One organization telling people what to do, the whole world. And that was heavily funded by Bill Gates, the devil himself. I could go on, and I also like that you mentioned AOC. Recently, I posted something about a week ago where she spent $50,000, okay, of campaign finances to pretty much go to Puerto Rico. And we saw her at a Bad Bunny concert. I think it was December, or I don't remember when that was, but obviously it is legal to do so, unfortunately. Like, you could use your campaign funds to go to places and say, oh, this is a campaign event, right? But I think it's excessive. I think that there should be limits to that. I don't think you should be spending $50,000 of people's contributions for you to go see Bad Bunny. And of course, you'll just say, oh, that I didn't use that part. I just happened to be in Puerto Rico. And there's always things that they can say, but come on. We know the bitch is a fake. We know that she flies on these fancy, private jets with her socialist pals and telling people that we should be communists while, she's a gentrifier, just like, Mamdani's people. Sia Weaver, that we've covered before, where she's a gentrifier and she's telling people how white people are so bad and blah, 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 blah. We're going to take their property away. Listen, all you socialists, go away, go away. Go back to sleep. Go live in your mother's basement. Go back to where you came from.
There you have it. And I'm going to switch over to the other topic that I wanted to talk about, which was AI, unless you guys want anything else you want to add before I move on. But it's the sun is down in Nevada here. Now we got a reflection, so you can't really get as much. But I'm by the Colorado River, and the water is a lot lower than I saw it recently. I spoke to one of the locals, and sometimes it's like that in the winter. But I was reading up on AI because I saw a story about how the AI data cooling centers use up a ton of water, and then interestingly enough, when I Googled it, there's an AI overview of telling me about how AI data centers are heavily taxing the Colorado River Basin by consuming millions of gallons of water daily for cooling, with 40% of planned massive data centers located in high water scarcity regions. This demand, coupled with increasing electricity needs, threatens to strain the already over-allocated river system that provides water for 40 million people. So, I mean, AI is cool. I used it for, my graphic design and introduction video for MAHA, Make America Fun Again, which is what I released recently. And it was like, I know how to do graphic design. I know how to edit videos, but using AI, I got an amazing thing done really quickly. And it's great, but I think I need water more. If I had to choose between AI or water, I'm probably going to choose water. And, California, Nevada, they already deal with droughts. They already deal with water scarcity. So the fact that it's using millions of gallons of water daily for cooling, it might be a little bit like, you might want to look into, maybe putting these centers somewhere else where the water isn't scarce, like out on the west. But I mean, that's just my thought. So that's one of the dangers of AI is the water needed for cooling. And the other one, I saw this story recently about an old video game that I actually vaguely remember playing back in the day. I think it was 2001, Metal Gear Solid 2. It shows this general having a conversation about AI, which this is 2001, well before AI was even seriously considered being released. And he's like, "You're having fun using the AI?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm making some cool videos with it." He's like, "We're letting the public use it so that we could eventually show how dangerous it is and force people to have digital IDs to prove the authenticity of them being who they say they are." And it makes perfect sense because you look at a video of Trump done by AI, and it's very hard to tell the difference whether that's a real video of the president saying something or an AI video. And the same thing goes for pretty much everybody. You could have an AI video of me or any one of us, you know, video chatting somebody else and asking for committing a crime, and it's not actually me. You have a video surveillance of a bank robbery, and the next thing you know, the video surveillance is, I mean, you could tell when surveillance is altered, I guess, but you get the gist of it. There's,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
it's serious.
you could video chat your, you know, they have it with just audio, not with video chats, where you could call a family member and say you're in a jam and you need money, and can you send it to me? And, you know, Western Union or wire transfer to this bank account or something like that. And next thing you know, they're sending money. And then you speak to them a week later for the money
Yeah.
back, and they're like, "You never sent me any
This shit is
money."
crazy. This shit is crazy,
Like,
man. Listen, we're gonna see some crazy stuff. Like back in the days, they used to do this anyway. Like I know in South America, this is common where they would, you know, my wife tells me there was a situation where they called her aunt and they were like, like screaming and crying at night and saying, "Mom, mom, help!" And then they would uh, shut off the phone, and then call back, and they would say, you know, we have your daughter here, we need some money, and then she wakes up and she thought, like, you know what I mean, they had her daughter, right? And she's like, oh my god. But then luckily she had the brain to call her and say, hey, are you okay? And she said, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, okay, they were just trying to scam me.
yeah,
But you know, imagine now where they could do all this stuff. They could, like, you see all these Trump videos where they're using his voice and different actors, and you're seeing it a lot, man. And this is going to get crazy, really
yeah,
crazy, and we really have to think about these things. But yeah, it's not far fetched to say that they, you know, could be doing this on purpose. So then we can get used to it, and then we start seeing the damage that can be done, and then we're going to be begging for this digital ID, these
yep,
digital biometrics, be like, yeah, yeah, definitely scan my face, yes, definitely put a chip in me because I don't want to be scammed and I don't want to lose all my money in my bank. uh
So
this is
check
out
this
of
out.
control.
I don't know if you guys know that a few days ago, our favorite Puerto Rican politician, AOC, held a press conference along with Republican Laurel Lee and Paris Hilton and survivors to advocate for the passage of the Defiance Act. And this is a bipartisan legislation aimed at combating non-consensual AI-generated deepfake pornography. AOC emphasized that over 90% of deepfake images generated by AI are non-consensual and pornographic, and that 90% of those target women, including herself and other public figures. The Defiant Act will grant victims a civil right to sue perpetrators of sexually explicit deepfakes, allowing them to seek damages of up to $150,000 per violation, with higher penalties if minors are involved. The bill, which passed the Senate unanimously, builds on an earlier Take It Down Act signed by the president in May 2025, which mandates removal of such content, but it does not provide restitution. So yeah,
I mean,
it says
I totally agree with, you know, like not allowing people to do that because it's messed up. I was kind of laughing when you started talking about it, because I remember all these memes about her. Obviously, not, you know, the sexual memes. I'm not with that, but like when they're making fun of her and they use her voice and like stuff like that, it's pretty funny. But I can see how, yeah, with stuff like this, it's
right, it could
terrible.
get out of hand. So the push
Yeah.
follows public outrage over AI tools like Grok generating explicit images of real people, including minors. But then I'm thinking, you know, what would be the next steps? And I would say it's what we've already talked about, what Mark just mentioned, the digital ID. Well, who's creating these? We need to know. We need to know that children are not using social media, of a certain age. The world is getting suffocating.
Yeah, I think the main goal here for digital ID is for control, and when it comes to control, it comes to the financial aspect of it. Like you need a digital ID in order to access your bank account because somebody could be pretending to be you, identity theft or whatever the case may be. Um, and that's where I think it comes down to because eventually they could if they don't like you, they just turn off your digital ID and all your assets and everything. Once cash is gone and it's all digital, and everyone's using, we talk about RFID chips, but even if it's your phone or whatever, you lose your phone and then you could get another one and get all the information back just on the new phone with the digital ID. And yeah, it's it's going to be sold as convenient and for your security, and it will definitely make sense. And most people will be for it for that reason. And we will be the conspiracy theorists at you, as usual, as the minorities, telling you the dangers of it. That the government, when they have global communism and they say, oh, this person, Kozi, put this social media post out there, no more money for you, enjoy being homeless, and that's it, unfortunately.
So I've got a couple of more stories, unless Cozy wants to chime in, that's related to the AI that you brought up.
No, I want to hear the story because this is fascinating. So go with it.
Okay.
We got about 2 minutes left before we wrap up on Brooklyn free speech. Just keep that in mind. So
All right. So let me do then a quick teaser. AI and how it's affecting community members, such as the 32-year-old Japanese woman named Yurina Nagoshi married an AI-generated character named Loon Klaus Verder, created using ChatGPT in a ceremonial wedding on October 27th, 2025.
that's funny. I remember
People have lost their minds.
John Matlin did a skit about
Oh, I think you froze.
lines like, if I divorced my wife, would you be with us? It was pretty comical. But yeah, people are really marrying AI, and when they're actual robots that you could have sex with, that's coming soon too. So humanity is just in a very, very weird place right now, and it's only going to get weirder, ladies and gentlemen. But I said we're wrapping it up on Brooklyn Free Speech. For those of you that don't know, we are on local cable TV, Brooklyn Free Speech. This archives on Saturdays, 2:30 p.m. Check your local listings, but basically it's in Brooklyn. If you have Optimum Channel 69, Time Warner Spectrum Channel 56, and all 5 boroughs of NYC on Verizon 44. So thank you on Brooklyn Free Speech for joining us. And if you want to see the rest of the show, just check out Cafecito Break on YouTube X, and you could watch the rest of the program.
Sorry, I'm laughing so much. I don't know what's wrong. We live in such a nutty world that if you don't laugh, we're just going to be nuts with everyone else. So I shall continue. I don't know if any of you saw the video of the wedding, though. And, the woman expressed, and I'm not saying this to make fun of her, but just to highlight
Make fun of her. Make fun of
where
her.
human beings are. Like she got really emotional. She cried because people were making fun of her. But the event was not legally recognized, but featured as a symbolic ceremony with vows. She wore a wedding dress. There was a ring exchange using augmented reality smart glasses. Yes.
We gotta nip this in the bud right now, man.
So
right now.
So how did this
I'm sorry
romance?
to interrupt. How recent was this? Because I saw something like this a month ago.
Bring bullying back.
This is October 27th, 2025. So
Okay.
let's talk about how this romance started. Nagoshi developed the relationship after ending a 3-year engagement using ChatGPT to process emotions and eventually shaping the AI into a persona-based on a video game character. She trained the AI to mimic the character's speech and personality, leading to a deep emotional bond. The ceremony was organized by wedding planners. Despite facing online criticisms, she stated her relationship with AI is not about escaping reality, but about mutual support.
Doesn't she have a friend, a family member that can chime in and be like,
But
"Hey,
look, you're
you've
gonna
lost your
love.
mind. You need a therapist." Like nobody will intervene. No, they're just gonna allow her to do it. Like not a good friend, neighbor, somebody, her dog,
She did
somebody.
read that she was getting comments and she cried and like, look, these days everything gets weaponized. Any type of emotional can get utilized to get a response on video. Oh my God, they're making fun of me online because I want to marry my ChatGPT
Yeah.
boyfriend. And I think that's maybe what happened. So, but check this out, which is going to love, you're gonna love this, right? According to this is a note, a growing trend in fictoro fictoromantic
Oh, so they labeled it.
fictoromantic
Gotta write
relationships.
that
Are
down.
you having a fictoromantic relationships? Would you have a fictoromantic relationships? And is that cheating if you already are with a beloved? I'm pretty sure that's a conversation already happening, but it says 22% of middle school girls in Japan express interest in having such a connection. And a US study shows 28% of adults have had romantic interactions with AI. Of course, you could look deeper. I'm pretty sure that these statistics are ever changing.
Wow. I just want to say something that, um, and we don't know. Like my gut tells me that this is a fake story. Maybe this is like a thing that they're just putting out there to normalize this behavior, to kind of introduce this to humanity. That's what my gut is telling me when I hear a story like this, because it sounds bullshit. It sounds like it's too hard to believe. Okay. I mean, it could be real. She could be a freaking psycho, but what I'm saying is this is how they prime the public to accept this. This is normal. Like right now it's absurd, right? But then there's going to be another story in a few years, like a year from now, and then a little bit more you're going to hear, and slowly they seep this out until it's freaking normal. As you see these furries, what are they called? These kids who think they're fucking animals, and then there's people who think they're other genders, and we're just keep freaking accepting this stuff, and it's just normalized. And then next thing you know, people are screwing computers.
Well, look, this is happening with the children, right? So, parents are also being warned about the AI. I will explore on other shows like AI toys and social AI chatbots, but just because we're talking about mental wellness here, this says that prolonged use of AI companions, like replica and character AI, can lead to emotional dependency, which I don't know if this is what the young lady. No, the young lady was using ChatGPT from Japan, but it's they know, like, we're living in a loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
And
And I'll
when you
take that
have
back. Yeah.
something, and then also think about it, how a lot of human beings, I mean, I don't live in all places around the world. I just can only speak from New York City. And it just watching people communicate here, I could see why some human beings feel very lonely just from watching people communicate here in New York City.
Yeah, and I want to make something clear before we go on. Like yes, when I state something, sometimes it's just like an opinion of mine, and it doesn't mean like it's 100% truth, right? This is like I philosophize. So that's like one theory that I have, that it's totally fake, that they make this up so they could normalize it. But then I can see, like what you just said, people are lonely, and it could be true. And especially, see, we're a different generation. So for us, it looks crazy. But if you're born into this, like, Gen A, right? Generation A, is that what they're called now after Gen Z, right? I think it's Gen A. They're closer to it, right? And even Gen Z, they're closer to that kind of interface. So maybe it is that they are chatting with their, chat GPT, and they're using it as a friend, and then they get emotional attachments. It could be. It's just like I'm so far extracted from, like, so far removed from that, because we're a different generation. We grew up in the street. We grew up playing outdoors and having real conversations, and not texting, but actually talking to people on the telephone. uh and we're different. So So yeah, it could be true. It could be that this is what's happening.
And look, to your point, Kozi, who knows if I don't know anything other than that story coming on my feed and then seeing, it being written about on the internet. Absolutely. I don't know the details. It could have been a public stunt, right? So, yeah, that could be one thing. But what is not debatable is what is happening to young people and human beings is that they are developing an emotional dependency. And unfortunately, some of these emotional dependencies have also led to beings taking the serious step of just ending their lives from having conversations with this intelligence. So, these are tools that we're meant to use to help our lives be better. It just gets dangerous, like with anything, when we allow it to use it. I say that even with coffee. You do a little bit too much coffee, then it overtakes your whole body and you're wigging out and you can't even think straight. Everything with balance.
Yeah, so I'm finally weighing in on this. First, I remember this from a few months ago, and I remember the comment saying, "Why would anyone go to that wedding?" And I said, "Why would you not want to go to that wedding? Like, that seems freaking hilarious to me. Why would you not want to witness that little weird spectacle?" But then, in all seriousness, the discussion that you guys were having, and I think Cozy underestimated the mental health of some people, because I do think that it is. I think it's definitely true without a doubt, and I think also there are a lot of people speaking to AI that don't even realize that they're speaking to AI, because you have all these people on the internet, photos of a girl and videos of a girl, and then you could be chatting with them, but they're using AI to respond and having these deep connections and trying to scam people or getting people. There's a lot of craziness going on in the internet, and AI is using it. And there are girls that there are apps that are AI that are like real girls, but the AI version of them. And you could talk to them and they'll respond to you and you'll have conversations, but you're not really having conversations. Like, so it's a very weird world that we live in. And what Cafecito said before, that does lead to depression because people aren't getting an actual IRL in real life interaction with people, and they're getting scammed, they're getting catfished, all types of weird things going on. And there's a mental health epidemic, especially for men, where the suicide rate is significantly higher than women. And in the UFC fight this past Saturday, Justin Gaethje was, who's a legend, beat the up and coming favorite, Paddy Paddington. And Paddy Paddington, after the loss, he brought up the suicide in men and for people to go and get help and stuff like that. It's a very real issue. And a lot of that is what Cafecito said, a loneliness epidemic, where people are lonely and there's a lot of BS out there in the world, and AI is a big part of that. So
Yeah, I want to say, look, I just remembered something, right? A few months back, I think it was about a year ago, when Grok was first introduced, right? I think a few months after that, there was, I think it still has it, but they changed the character. So if you go into Grok and there's a thing called companions. They literally have companions where you can talk to. It says like, so now they made it kind of like an anime. Here, like Micah, free spirit, loyal friend. And then there's a picture of a girl, sweet vibe with a nerdy heart. Her name is Annie. Then there's one that's an animal, good Rudy, adventurous kid storyteller. And then you start talking to these people. There's another guy called Valentine, dapper, mysterious, and licensed to charm. So like, I'll pull it up here, but I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's different companions, and people can talk to them, right? And before this, there was a version where there was like sexual language. Like you could literally click on it and there's like a female talking to, like sounding like a robot with sexual stuff, and they would have conversation with you and they would go as deep as you wanted to. And then there was a nerd who can just talk to you about math problems. And then like there was actually another version of a woman who would tear you down, like for people who like to be mistreated, and it literally would be a woman who would talk so much shit to you and like just destroy your character. And I was like, what the hell is this? And this is when Elon was kind of involved in this, I guess. Maybe it was his. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming it was kind of his thing, but I think they must have seen something bad about it, and they started removing these characters because I don't see them here anymore. But it's pretty crazy.
I do remember at least the promotions for that, and find as a woman just sort of like, what the heck is this about? I don't like how it feels. But look, I found this. The Guardian posted this, and this is the question. Tell me what you guys think. Somebody to love. Should AI relationships stay taboo, or will they become the intelligent choice? I'm sorry. Should they become the intelligent choice? Look, if I have my AI boyfriend, I don't have to worry about STDs,
As long as he could provide you with some money, right? Then it's all good.
sexual
Is he
relationship.
going to give you money? Is he going to pay your bills?
I don't know.
Well, girls don't need guys for that, anymore. So a lot of them don't, at least. But
At least these AIs won't nag you to death.
wi-
They won't
women.
ask you to fix things all the time.
There's a saying: men fall in love with what they see, women fall in love with what they hear, and I guess AI is smoother than our pickup lines now. AI just comes up with a way to mess with the girl's psyche and get her to fall in love. I don't see
You're not
it
a
being
bitch. You're
impossible.
beautiful. You're so nice. It just lies
No,
to
but
her all
maybe
day.
some of them want, 50 levels of gray ChatGPT conversation.
And they'll
Look,
do it.
but
Shades of
Mark,
gray.
Mark may have a point here. This article goes down to say that a recent survey found 28% of Americans have had an intimate/romantic AI relationship.
Shit is crazy, man. Crazy.
And another study showed 19% of adults. Now we got to find out who the studies are, right? Because and 19% of adults have chatted with an AI romantic partner, and
How many? Wait, what percent?
And they
19%.
knew it was AI, or like that's the key factor, because some people might not know it's AI that they're
Yeah,
talking to.
yeah,
I think
that's
they
not.
knowingly do it.
Well,
There's
yeah.
two different ones. There's no, it's AI, and then there's you don't know it's AI because somebody's pretending to be the actual girl on your X or Instagram or whatever social media platform.
Yeah, I think
And
what Rose Angel's referring to is like they clearly knew it was. It
Yeah.
wasn't because they would have set up the article differently.
19% seems a little high. Like,
Yeah, I could see it happening though.
But then this is
Listen, the fact that it's on Grok, right? A mainstream AI service that's one of the main, it's the top two, right? It's one of the top two AI platforms. And I'm finding it right here under companion. That means out of how many can you take a guess? How many people use Grok every day, right? Billions, right? Probably, I would say it's in the billions or maybe millions. Let's say millions,
Yeah,
just
millions.
to be safe. Let's say millions. Okay. Out of, let's say 1% only uses that. Do you know how many people? And I'm sure people have played around with it, right? Even me, like I'm looking at it and I just click on it. And I haven't tested these characters out, but I'm just curious now. Maybe we should go online. Like next time we do a show, we should just play around with this and just ask it ridiculous things and just have a laugh. But I'm sure 1%, and even if it's a 0.5%, that a 0.5% of a million is a lot of people. So it's not far fetched.
we're gonna have to, this is a big topic because we can keep going and exploring this conversation, but I want to at least start bridging it because I'm looking at the time to what we titled the show, which is "You're Being Watched," right? Yeah, we've spoken about a lot of different topics today, but a lot of this has information and data that tracks and traces each other. Pretty soon, if it's up to certain entities, they want to track us for our carbon credits and how much we're breathing, and God forbid we toot in the air.
Or you breathe too much.
We breathe too much. Don't buy a cow. Don't have a farm. Well, something came. Okay, this came up to has been up in my feed a lot, which is the New York Police Department operates one of the most extensive surveillance networks in the world, centered around domain awareness systems, which is a partnership with Microsoft and the Lower Manhattan Security Initiative. So what does this mean? These are the key surveillance features: camera types, which are equipped with low light technology and nighttime surveillance. There's facial recognition. There's data sources like DAS, which is CCTV footage with data from over 2 billion license plate reads. There's data retention. Video footage is retained for 30 days. Recent expansions in 2025, the NYPD installed 38 new surveillance cameras. The department plans to expand access to 17,897 CCTV cameras across 119 NYCHA developments. So I was contemplating that, because sometimes if you visit NYCHA in a development, it already almost feels like a mini encampment.
Prison?
Yes, I'm trying to be, yes. So imagine now they want to activate so they can have, they could connect all of those cameras across 119 developments, and so that they can see real-time sharing of security footage from over 1,500 retail cameras as well across the city, with the goal of expanding it to all 5 boroughs. So what are the controversies? Disparities, accuracy and bias, privacy and oversight. There was a lawsuit. Hold on a second. There was a lawsuit that says an NYPD camera points directly into their bedroom, and they're suing the city over it. And it says it can see potentially directly into any part of our house. The camera is one of tens of thousands that feed into a massive warrantless surveillance system that police use to track and profile millions of New Yorkers each day. Many of these cameras are mounted to drones and helicopters, as well as stationary cameras like the ones outside. And footage from tens of thousands of other privately owned cameras, however, like those posted outside shops and businesses, are also made available to the NYPD. So I don't know, like, it's everywhere. Even our footsteps and the way we're walking is being, patterned. What do you guys think?
Well, when it comes to NYCHA housing, I mean, there's always been high crime rates in the projects, and especially in the hallways where there weren't cameras, at least there didn't used to be, where people are committing a lot of crimes, a lot of fights, a lot of murders, and all types of things. And aside from the urinating in the hallways and the elevators and all that other fun stuff that goes on over there. But the rest of the city, I mean, New York the speed cameras and all the other cameras that are put out there, NYPD surveillance and stuff. It's growing and growing, and it's no surprise. And then you combine that with AI and facial recognition and finding people, and it's just a big brother state. And they're the people for years that say if you're doing nothing wrong, then you shouldn't have to worry about anything. I accepted a long time ago for my own mental health that I don't have any privacy. The government is always listening to me with my phone. I talk to the NSA about it sometimes as a joke. I'll curse myself out in the truck sometimes. It's like, what do you think, NSA? What do you think about this?
So would you have an NSA chat buddy? You're like, you guys already surveillance me, so
There's the meme of the 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 FBI agent that's assigned to me gets a laugh out of my day or something like that. I saw someone else did that meme or something like that, and I got a kick out of it. But yeah, but yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it started I mean, it started before the Patriot Act, but the Patriot Act after 9/11 is what really started it all. And I knew it was going to get worse, and it's going to get even worse than that. Like I said, with AI and tracking and all that other fun stuff. So
Yeah, I don't think there's like you said, man, like it's happening. You've accepted it, right, for your own mental health, and I kind of feel the same way in terms of like, listen, I don't think there's any stopping this. I think they have this agenda. They've invested trillions of dollars probably into this, propaganda and agenda, and it is what it is. We could push back. We could expose this and keep spreading the truth, which we should definitely do. We should voice our opinions. We should warn about the dangers of this. I don't know how successful we will be, but I think that it's worth the fight to protect our privacy, right? Because the government doesn't own us, just like they don't own our bodies when they try to force medications onto us and interventions. It's the same thing with our ideas and our thoughts and our private stuff, right? Our private conversations. Like right now, we're all DMing each other, text messaging, thinking that it's all private, right? That's pretty cute that you think that. But yes, the NSA is reading it. Yes, this stuff is being put into a huge database where it's all being analyzed and departmentalized into different characters. And I believe there's a profile of every single person, all your conversations, all your thoughts, everything you've talked about, even when you're talking, is all being transcribed. And no, I'm not crazy. This is what's happening.
oh,
They already
100%
know.
accurate.
They already know what you're talking about. So if you think you have privacy, that's pretty cute. You don't.
When you
Okay.
slide into someone's DMs, other people are reading it. So, and
And you
I
probably
do it
signed on to
anyway. I
it.
don't care.
And we probably all signed on to it, right? I'm sure when you signed up to Metro PCS or T-Mobile or Verizon, I'm sure there's some clause there that nobody fucking reads because there's like a million pages. And you're like, sure, I'm going to pay my monthly thing. And you sign off user agreements and, you sign your privacy away. I'm sure that's all being
Well,
documented.
X just changed their encryption on DMs where they say that end to end encrypted, and no one, not even employees in X, could read your DMs now or something.
Yeah,
So,
same shit that
and,
Signal says. I don't believe it, but it could be
yeah,
true. But the point is, I
what
just want to be clear.
WhatsApp?
I'm not for, this grabbing our information. I'm all for privacy, right? I'm going to be very clear. That's what I stand for. I like privacy. I want to be able to share what I want to share with the public, and I have the right to keep what I want private. But if we have to understand, people, that if we're using social media, if we're using text messages, if we're using all these different things, if we're having Alexa in our home like idiots, uh, then you don't have privacy. You're inviting these things and you're interacting with these things. So if you don't want, if you want privacy, you don't use social media, right? Don't have a cell phone, because right now, as this thing is resting, it's recording everything we're saying. It knows the location. It knows everything about us. It knows what
Yep.
you like, what you ate, what you just, if you cursed your wife out, it knows that. If you said something pleasant to her, it knows that. If you forgot to do the dishes, it knows that.
Yeah, and it goes into marketing and sales too. I remember a few years ago, 4 years ago maybe, I'm in Rhode Island at this pizza place that was in the movie Mona with Julia Roberts. I forgot what the name of the movie was or something, but I'm there with my sister, and for some reason we're talking about a pizza cutter, right? And then later that day, I'm on Instagram, and I'm getting advertisements for pizza cutters on Instagram or Facebook, one or the other. Like, and I'm like, why would I get an ad for a pizza cutter? Like,
It's a coincidence, Mark.
I wasn't shopping for one. I didn't like, but I got an ad for this pizza cutter. Like, and
Because you
it's
need a
just
fucking
crazy.
pizza cutter, okay?
But you know that it,
I didn't search it in Google. It's one thing
I
if you
know.
typed in Google and then next thing you know it's recorded with tracking cookies and all that other stuff. Verbal conversation between me and my sister, and next thing you know I'm getting ads for a pizza cutter, and it
We're
goes
all
on.
screwed.
That's one example, but I use that example because of how random it was. It wasn't like something that I normally talk about, that, or something that's related to the gym, like boxing gloves or something like that. So
let me tell you that, like, well, I have two little stories. Like, I had one of those moments where I wasn't searching for what this product was. I had definitely leaned into the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I have a blemish on my face. I need to do something about this acne. I thought this. I had not gone anywhere. Cut two, there's all these things recommending all these acne products for my face.
Wait, did you just say that you just thought this? You
Thought it.
believed
Yes. Yes,
Wow.
I thought it. And there was
Interesting.
the only thing that saw me was my mirror, or so I thought. So then and here's the thing, I've heard a lot of people on
This
the
shit is
internet
reading your mind too,
that
ladies and
these
gentlemen.
It's
things
not
are
far-fetched.
understanding
I'm
the
not
brain
saying it.
waves, and it's happened more than once. And then the whole thing about marketing and tracking, this happened to me like maybe over 10 years ago. I'm looking up some like, oh, I need some underwear, let me look this up on a on a little private time. Next thing you know, somebody comes to talk to me, and I'm like, yeah, and then in my computer screen an advertisement pops up for underwear that I may be interested in front of a colleague. And I was like, wow, this is completely embarrassing.
Wow. Listen, like I said, it's
Because
not far-fetched.
it was a
think-
different page, it was a different, and like,
Think about this, right? Our cells literally are transmitters. Our cells can transmit electricity. It's a fact. It has electrical signals, right? And it's insulated just like wires are, right? With myelin sheath, literally it protects your neurons, and it's literally electricity going through. So we know that we have Bluetooth, and we know that Bluetooth can read wires. It could literally tap in. So it's not far-fetched. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I could
If
see the
you-
reality. I could
it's
see the
a-
reality that it is a possibility.
It's a very scary thing, so I don't like to bring it up because I don't like to freak people out. But I've done research on this before. If it's possible for to read thoughts, and it says it could translate your thoughts into text. Basically, that's the long story short of it. So,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
you
not
could
sure.
think
I haven't seen
something-
anything. I haven't seen anything scientific that does it, but
Yeah.
I can believe that. I do believe that the theory and the possibility is there. I do believe it because we're no different.
we're
it's
gonna
not
have to do a
different.
deep dive on this, right? Like,
We
we'll
should.
take some time and find out. This has to be out there, because I think I agree with you, Mark. It's one thing when it's happening to you as an isolated thing, but a lot of people have spoken about, like, is this thing reading my mind? I swear I didn't talk about this subject, and all of a sudden I look on my device and it's there serving it up to me.
I'll never forget when Facebook, right? When you open up Facebook, sometimes, I don't know if it still does it because I barely use Facebook, but it says, what's on your mind? There's a question there, right? What's on your mind?
Yeah, but come on. I mean, they
No,
want
no,
you
no.
to
That's
type
totally
what's-
different. But I'm
I
saying
know.
for years it's been doing that. But now we're at another level where I think I'm not saying that this exists, but I can see the potential, and I could see that it can probably happen in the near future.
Well, I mean, I'm drawing a blank on Stephen Hawking. Like, I mean, he basically was able to talk through his thoughts. So, no, like, I mean, he was reading his thoughts out loud. So that's a perfect example of how the technology is there. So it's not far fetched. And I don't like talking about it because I think that has the potential for an audience member to go completely insane thinking about the fact that they're not safe in their own thoughts. And
Yeah.
it's scary. So an audience member here, like, well, what? My thoughts aren't like
Yeah, let's just be clear
to
with them. Listen,
myself,
people,
like,
we're not saying
yeah.
that there's any proof that we have here. We're just theorizing. This is just philosophical thoughts and
We're coming up with a new
It's just
theory.
We're not
conspiracy
quacks.
theorists.
We're not conspiracy theorists. We're just kind of throwing this shit out there. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying that I'm inferring that we are electrical beings. We are magnetic, bioelectrical beings, and it's not going to be far-fetched to see in the near future. And maybe it's possible now, but I don't know. In the near future, maybe there will be Bluetooth that will be reading your thoughts. That's all I'm saying. So don't quote me. Don't take me out of context. Don't say I'm a lunatic, because I guarantee you in the future, this will be a reality.
Okay, so here's the thing though, like, breaking it down to just simplicity. When we have a thought, that creates a wave. So there is a wave component to it. I have met people that can, and I'm not talking about people being empathetic when you can feel the emotions of other people. I'm saying I've met human beings that can hear what other people are thinking in real time. Why? We're transmitting information with our thoughts, right? So we're beautiful. We're beyond these five senses. So yes, there are many human beings out there. Maybe they're not showing this thing, and maybe it doesn't happen with all human beings, but that they are able, which is when I figured this out, I was that person whenever there was a discussion, I was ready with all of my thoughts. I'm like, yeah, you asshole, in my mind, right? Like especially when you're bickering with somebody. Oh yeah, wait till I tell you, you little ass. And you're like just mumbling in your mind, right? When I learned that there were human beings that could read in real time, that I could potentially be saying and interpreting that, I started to, like, I got to practice how to quiet my mind so that I'm not sending out those waves with people who can read it. We're living in an extraordinary times, right? And that comes with great, amazing things, something that could be a little trepidation. And thank you, Mark, for pointing it out. We are not at all trying to scare anyone here. But what we're
I
saying
am.
is that we work with these things. These things are at our fingertips. When we get a new phone, the first thing they want us is to set up your fingerprint ID, do your little video thing. Like, it's all, they're already getting us used to this. Just give your likeness away. But it could be replicated so easily. So then how can you prove it when we're also living with data hacking and mining and people replicating identities? Like, we are living very extraordinary times. I would just say just try to be more careful with your digital footprint and how you're moving and how things are talking to each other and what you allow your apps to do on your phones and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And when you said something, I wanted to touch on something you said when you were talking about five senses. It's like, and who told you guys? Like, who freaking told you guys that we only have five senses? Like, that's what they teach you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's it. We know everything. Five senses. People, it could be more than five senses. It could be trillions and trillions of senses. We don't fucking know. Just like they don't know what they're talking about when they tell you safe and effective, when they tell you fluoride's good for your teeth. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? And nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. We're all trying to guess what is happening in this universe, in this galaxy of trillions and trillions and quadrillions and what, who knows how many trillions of things are out there. We're just trying to make sense of all this. We're just floating and we're living this life and trying to learn. Nobody knows the freaking truth.
Yeah, telepathy is communicating with, reading each other's thoughts, and like it's usually in fiction stuff like that. But there was a time when me and my younger brother had a dream, and we both the next day both talked about the same dream that we were in. Like, we were both in the same dream, and that's crazy. And like, I just saw last night, I was watching. I used the free trial of Apple TV, not to do a plug, but the Ted Lasso comedy show. He's on the plane, and he goes to his assistant coach. He's like, if we're in the same dream together, then let's pretend like we don't know each other, and like, well, something like that. And I was like, wow, like people get the concept that you could be in the same dream as somebody else, like the connection that you could have like that. And it's just so I don't doubt telepathy and all that other stuff. We only use a very small percentage of our brain. Liberals use a lot less, and some people use a lot more. But had to throw that in for comic relief there.
Yeah,
But
but to be fair, lately both sides have been acting a little cuckoo and
yeah,
unstable for sure. So
We may have to come up with the Wokey Pokey Awards because there are a lot of nominations on the left, on the right, on the left, and on the right.
and I think we should do a future show on dreams. I think that would be fascinating, and I think we should get into that. What do you guys think?
I would love it. And look, Mark, my sister and I had a dream like that where, like, I woke up really irritated, and 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 when I was recalling what I had dreamt about, there was a moment where my sister felt like she was interrogating me, and I was just feeling highly defensive, and I was just not having it. Then when I see my sister in real time later that day, she says, "Hey, guess what? I had a dream with you yesterday, and I was trying to ask you questions, but you just had an attitude."
That's
So
funny.
we were in the same dream.
That is funny.
Yep. So we're gonna start wrapping things up with final thoughts, or anything else you guys want to add or cover on this, or
No, let's wrap up some final thoughts.
fun. It's a fun conversation, fun time. So didn't necessarily want to ruin the party and end it here, but a little bit into overtime. So remember, we air every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Cafecito Break. Kozi, of course, has his Kozi soap, so make sure, I mean, with all the holidays are over, you got to stay fresh and clean all year. Get some for yourself.
No, we actually got new batches, fresh batches, just ready right now, ready for Valentine's Day. So if you're a man out there and want to buy your wife or girlfriend or whatever you call them these days, want to buy them some stuff, that is a very good gift to give your significant
Definitely.
other.
If your man smells like nasty, then have him smell nice with some Cozy soap, and
So
vice
you go to
versa.
Instagram.com/Cozies Pure Soaps, KOZISPURE soaps.
Well, let's play the little part of the promo.
Kozi's Pure Soaps. So fresh and so clean.
We got Kozi's Pure Soaps, so fresh and so clean. Inhale to escape when your bar hits the steam. Kozi's Pure Soaps, close your eyes, feel the dream.
Close your eyes and feel the dream with clean buns.
Yep.
Clean buns.
I think we gotta get a copy of my MAHA Make America Fun Again video. I need to plug that in a future show. But
Absolutely.
Make America Fun Again event planning. So if you want to host a fundraiser for a charity, or if you just want to have a party, get whether it's patriots together or just everybody, because you know what, prior to 2020, no one really, I mean, people that still cared about politics, but for the most part, it was not ruining friendships and families the way it's been in the past decade or so. So I think just getting people together and having fun, whether it's for a charity, but could be a political fundraiser. It's, whatever you want it to be, comedy events. We organize the talent. We go and book the venue. If it's a large scale event, there's the insurance involved and security and all those things. We handle every aspect of every event, large or small, permits for outdoor venues and things of that nature. So, hit us up, MAHA, MakeAmericaFunAgain.com. Also on Instagram. You could find them on my Instagram, on Mark Friend Y, on a recent post. And it's going to be a fun year. So we're starting to work on some things, hoping to have a comedy event in mid-April, hoping to have a concert in Coney Island in the summer. So there's
Nice.
things I'm working on. We'll see how it
I
goes.
love this, man. I love this idea. I'm glad you're doing this, and I can't wait to see it in fruition. Just I want to see it. It's going to be so much fun. Great,
Yep.
great idea, man. And for you guys out there, Rose Angel of Cafecito Break, she has a fundraiser, and if you love what she brings to the table and all this amazing information her and her sister bring, please support them. They're in City Hall. They're trying to cover, and they have been covering in a very professional way, I must say, a very neutral way. She doesn't put her opinion on it. She's there. She's being what a true journalist should be doing, right? What the fake news media should be doing is going there, recording, and letting the people decide for themselves. Okay, that's what she's doing. So go support Rose Angel. She's going to City Hall, and she needs your help. It costs money. She doesn't have people behind her like these mainstream media people who get paid. So we can pay her. Even a little bit helps. She has a goal. Help her reach that goal. If it's $5, $20, $100, $1,000, whatever your soul can give, whatever your purse can give or wallet, do it. All right. She needs your support. She's amazing. She's been consistent, and she's a true journalist. So help her out.
Thank you. And I'd like to say, wow, that really touched my heart. GoFundMe, Cafecito Break goes to City Hall. Let me show you what that looks like. The other day, I attended a press conference and with Mayor Mamdani at Woodhull Hospital, where he made an announcement for 2 youth clinics, 18 to 25, and they kept mentioning the word holistic. Your girl was just a few feet away from him, so I wanted to take an opportunity to ask him a question. You mentioned the word holistic approach to the young people. By the way, congratulations. I think this is an amazing initiative. This is my home hospital, so I'm excited about it. What percentage of holistic is going to be added to the young people? Are we talking about natural approaches, food, which we know can also help with the balancing and the mental wellness? Anyone who wants to answer that question?
Yeah, I can just speak to it broadly, and then I'll invite the experts on the exact subject matter. I can tell you that what makes me so excited, and I think so many of the other elected officials who are here today, is that this will be a youth clinic where young people can come to, and they don't just receive social services assistance, they don't just receive mental health assistance, they also receive vocational assistance, they also receive the kind of assistance that oftentimes they're actually afraid to even ask for. They don't even know where to turn to. And what this is about is creating a place where a young person can go when they have a question and they don't know who has the answer. This will be that first step.
Yeah, exactly. As Mayor mentioned, holistic, in that sense, you see a fridge also behind you and a kitchenette. So definitely it does include the nutrition, but it also includes all these aspects of someone's life, vocational. During that time, people might be looking for a job. They might be graduating from college, helping them with that, but also creating that sense of community. We know that community is a big factor, especially for this age group. You see a couch behind me where people can hang out, play games on this screen. So it's basically approaching every aspect of their life.
They kind of answered my question, but
Kind of didn't.
trying. But they kind of did it.
We have a holistic pharmaceutical approach. We have a
little kitchen.
Pfizer, Moderna, a little bit of a.
We have a little kitchen. That
They
was
could
the
sit there-
nutrition part.
They could sit there and play games. That's not, holistic.
They're
That's
playing
not.
games. Yeah.
Are you
They mentioned the
talking
little
about like
kitchen.
essential oils? Are you like? There's nothing about essential oils or diets or.
Imagine you wanted to be an
anything
asshole
like
and you're like, you didn't answer my question. Now,
No, they jumped
type
right
of-
away
of
to
course,
like
they cut-
next.
They're
It
so
sounded
at-
good,
they're
though.
so good. And then the guy ran. That shit was hilarious right now. He was like, there was a guy who ran out of nowhere. I'll have to take this off. And he's like, oh, and then, like he had to like
Yeah, well,
intervene quick.
he's excited about the subject, and honestly, if I didn't know what a piece of crap Mamdani is, because he's a communist, he seems very likable in that and so did the other guy who ran in. It's like, yeah, we're excited, we're doing these great
Vocational.
things for the kids, and like, and like, you can't hate on that video.
No,
You
no,
can't
listen,
hate
and it's-
anyone
listen.
involved there.
And it is a good idea, right? It is a good idea, right? I like that they're saying, if you need help with finding work, of course that's a holistic approach, right? Because it's more than just your mental health, it's more than just your physical health. And yes, you need work to be a holistic person. But that's not what Rose Angel was asking, and they freaking know what she's asking, right?
Yep.
But they won't touch it. They won't tell you about health, natural medicine, or natural approaches. He did mention diet. But it's good that Rose Angel interjects this, because by you asking that question, the people can see what these people are up to. So thank you for asking that question. You did a great job, because it showed you that they didn't have an answer. Their answer was clownish, theater. And that's what you didn't have to say it, right? You were being a journalist, you recorded it, and now we all saw that. So thank you. Thank you for opening up that curtain. The curtain
I
of that
appreciate it. And what I will note, which was a little disappointing, at that moment when there's an opportunity to ask questions, the most anybody might get is 3 to 6 questions. not saying one person, I'm saying the entire room filled with press. So I was lucky. The other questions, let's just say if there were 6, I have to look back to the video. Most of them were about the upcoming snowstorm. Then the station, the main station that represented the Spanish speakers, their question out of all the things to ask about was, where are the trans community who are underrepresented in this announcement that you just shared? And in my mind, I'm like, they just finished saying over and over, we listened to like 8 speakers, it seems like, about how this is for the youth 18 to 25. That means everyone.
It's
There's
so crazy.
nothing discriminating from trans people in this. This is just something about everyone, and trans people wanted to make it about trans people. For what reason? Like, there's nothing.
Well,
You didn't mention anything about people in the
but-
Mojave Desert. Like,
But
something
that's
just
the
comes out
thing.
of
It
left
wasn't.
field.
It wasn't trans people. It was the reporter from, I don't know if it was Univision or the other one. I can't remember.
Transvision.
I know the question is a stupid, wasteful, annoying question. Is my point. You know.
And so then, to me, why am I saying that? Is like, there is a big press fight happening, multiple press fights happening just in reality in New York City, with mainstream press, with grassroots media, with what the heck is new media? How is that all gonna be defined? Mainstream press always is fighting, the ones that are publicized, the ones that are well funded. They look at anybody who falls within grassroots, not all, and new media, like, where are you guys coming from? Like, you guys are nothing. You don't have any. You don't even have funders. You're just like scraping at the barrel. But sometimes it's independent media, or many times, who are asking the more inquisitive questions. And I do think, because mainstream media is doing such a lackluster job at getting at the heart of everyday things that the New Yorkers want to know about, then we need more variety in there. So thank you, everyone, and I really appreciate your support. And yeah,
Before we go, let's check some of the comments. Let's respond to some of these people who have tuned in. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see some of these. What do we got here? It says Robert.
geez, no, I put up the wrong one.
We have a whole bunch here. Sorry, yeah. Sometimes we get into the conversation. Sometimes we see these things, but okay. So it blows my mind how people still take these toxic jabs or use fluoride.
I mentioned that one earlier. I see the comments as they come on the left side of my screen.
Yeah,
I'm on
we're
my
definitely
laptop.
paying attention. Did you guys hear who owns the utility companies now? In my state of Idaho, our electricity has soared in price while California has gone down now 3 to 4 times. Our state has numerous hydroelectric dams.
Yeah, that's when I was talking about. April commented that when I was talking about the water and the electricity with the AI and all that stuff. So, out over there in Idaho, Pacific Northwest, that's affecting them as well with the electric bill and all that. So,
Shout out to Robert White, Robert from the Bronx.
Robert from the Bronx. And we have Go Patty, who said, this is crazy, and I believe this could be true. I'm so happy I lived through the fun times. And that was when we were talking about AI relationships.
yep.
People are out of their fucking minds. They're humping robots.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you for commenting. And we didn't give enough attention to the people. The journalist question: what about the underrepresented people who identify as cats or who dress up as astronauts and go to the
What about
beach?
the friendly bacteria in my colon? You haven't addressed them.
I can't.
Listen, we're living we're living amazing times. I love that I get to do this show with you guys and everyone who joins us every Monday, who tunes in. Thank you, April, Robert, Olivia, Patty, everyone who's tuned in, who listens, who shares, who likes the show, and all the guests who we've been privileged to have it. You guys make me want to get up each day to do more, to live more, to just try to be the best human being that I can. And that's our point here, with even down to Mark's MAHA, like make America fun again. It's like we are hoping to inspire you to connect more with other people where you're at, because we need it. We're really having a hard crisis as human beings, and that is no laughing matter. But we do need to laugh because we're not laughing enough, and that is an assignment that I have gifted all of you. Laugh as much as possible.
And we'll laugh even more if you donate to Rose Angel, make her happy. Donate and donate and donate and make this woman happy. Help her do her job. We need you
Yeah,
to help her do her job, okay? She needs your support, and she is definitely worth that support. And same here with Mark when he does his America, make America funny again. I love that, really love it, and I hope to join one of these very soon. And clean your buns, Kozi's Pure Soaps.
you know, it's
Peace
Clean
out.
your buns.
it's good to see. One last thing, it's good to see. First, we have Cara Castronova out there in DC, and
Amazing.
as a press agent, interviewing, asking the president questions and all these great interviews. And now we have Cafecito out in City Hall locally here asking the mayor questions. So it's good to see two of our female freedom fighter friends out here, out there in the press room with these elected officials holding them accountable.
Isn't that an amazing coincidence, people? Let's go.
Let's
Yep.
go. We love you. I'm going to end with this. What do I miss? I miss the way I viewed the world before I knew too much about it. Hang out with your buddies, even the little animal friends. They
Anya.
make life much worth it. Shout out to Anya. You
Shout
know
out
who
to
you
Anya.
are. You know
Anya.
who you are, Anya.
Anya, the plate licker, Anya.
All right, mi gente, that is a little animal that we just said hello to. This has been Ra, Mark, and Kozi. Thank you for all your love. We'll see you next Monday, live 8 p.m.
Peace out to the friendly bacteria out there.
Bye, guys. It's a wrap.